Noisia, stylized as Noisia, is a Dutch electronic music trio consisting of members Nik Roos, Martijn van Sonderen and Thijs de Vlieger from Groningen, Netherlands. They produce a wide variety of music including drum and bass, dubstep, breakbeat and house music. They own 3 record labels, Vision, Division and Invisible Recordings, and have released on several labels including Skrillex's OWSLA, Dead May 5's Mal 5 Trap and JZ's Rock Nation. Foreign Beggars have combined with Noisia to make a side project and supergroup I Am Legion. They released their collaborative album I Am Legion on September 2, 2013. Noisia also go by the name Nightwatch for some of their production credits, such as for their work with Alexis Jordan, Hadouken, Wiley and Wretch 32. The group produce using Steinberg Cubase. They produced Hadouken's entire album for the masses, which charted at number 19 on the UK albums chart. Career equals 2003 Euro 2006, record deals and formation equals, after a few collaborations with Martijn, who had been involved in music for quite a while before he hooked up with Nik and Thijs, Martijn was added to the Noisia team. The first Noisia song that received interest from a label was found on a production message board. February 2003 saw the birth of the recording that was going to be the first Noisia release. Tomahawk by Noisia and Mayhem on Paul Reset's Nerve Recordings imprint. Silicon/Tomahawk was released in August 2003. For a time between 2005 and 2009, Noisia also released tracks as Drifter, encompassing liquid funk, as well as releasing an EP under the name Hustle Athletics on Love Break Recordings. They later decided to go back to releasing all their music under the name Noisia so as to not confuse the audience and to avoid being pigeonholed into different genres with different names. Noisia have released music on major drum and bass labels such as TB's Subtitles, Goldie's Metalheads, Rob Playford's Moving Shadow, Ram Records, Virus Recordings, Hospital Records, and Renegade Hardware. The Dutch collective has also received extensive airplay on BBC Radio 1. Eventually Robbie Williams showed interest in working with Noisia, asking them to remix his cover of Manu Chao's Bongo Bong and Je Ni T'aime Plus, which they turned into a house track released on the major record label EMI. The Noisia remix of Moby's Alice has also been released to critical acclaim. Equals 2007 Euro 2009, commercial breakthrough in productions equals, early 2007 saw the release of Tasha Baxter's Color of Me, an album entirely produced by Noisia. They met Baxter and bandmate Andre Scheepers on the internet, and the 2-member band was signed to EMI South Africa. It took more than a year to complete the project, the end product being a pop-orientated album influenced by reggae and drum and bass. In June 2008, they released Fabric Live 40, a mix CD on the Fabric label that includes many of their own tracks. Noisia completed a remix of Omen for The Prodigy to accompany its release in February 2009. In summer 2009, Noisia produced Hadouken's second album for the masses, released in 2010, which entered the UK albums chart at number 19. They have also officially remixed Skrillex's Scary Monsters and E-Sprites, as well as Dead May 5's Raise Your Weapon. Equals 2010 Euro present, Split the Atom and Other Ventures equals. Noisia's debut studio album Split the Atom was released on April 5, 2010. The first single from the album, Machine Gun, was released on March 8, 2010. The second single from the album, Split the Atom, was released on July 25, 2010. On February 27, 2012, Noisia released a special edition of their album Split the Atom on Dead May 5's acclaimed label Mal 5 Trap, alongside 2012 remixes from the likes of Moonkai, Killer Noise and Lodestar. In later 2012, Noisia also remixed Mark Knight's track, Nothing Matters, and also Smack My Bitch Up for The Prodigy for the re-release of The Fat of the Land. Noisia have also written music for short films as well as various video games, including Midnight Club 3, Dub Edition, Wipeout Pulse, Wipeout HD, and Wipeout HD Fury. They also produced The Tide, which was featured on Dance Dance Revolution Universe 2 and Stigma was used in the intro of Gran Turismo PSP. Their song Groundhog was featured twice in DJ Hero, first as a mashup with Motor Paragraph Red's Ace of Spades 08, then later as a beat juggle by the Scratch Perverts. A remixed version of Groundhog can also be found in the soundtrack of Motor Storm, Pacific Rift. The group also collaborated with Klaus Badelt to provide a series of remixes for the Motor Storm, Apocalypse soundtrack. The 16-bit remix of Machine Gun was featured in the Stranded trailer for the video game Far Cry 3, and Could This Be?, and Machine Gun were used on SSX. Noisia worked alongside Ninja Theory and produced over 3 hours worth of music for them and their DMC, Devil May Cry reboot. The 36-track soundtrack was released through Division on January 15, 2013. Noisia owned 3 record labels. Vision Recordings is intended for their drum and bass work, including collaborations with other producers in the genre, such as TB, Mayhem, or MC Verse. Vision's sister label Division Recordings is an outlet for their output in other genres such as house and grime. Invisible Recordings was launched in March 2010 and focuses on experimental drum and bass. I Am Legion I Am Legion is a supergroup formed by Noisia and the British hip-hop group Foreign Beggars. They released their eponymous debut album I Am Legion on September 2, 2013, following the singles Make Those Move, and Choosing For You. Discography Studio albums Tasha Baxter, Color of Me, Fabric Live 40, Split the Atom, Special Edition, DMC, Devil May Cry soundtrack, I Am Legion. EPs singles remixes production credits References